What's up, guys? It's PFL this weekend. The best PFL card I've honestly probably ever seen. It is absolutely loaded with someone all you guys should know, Francis Ngannou, taking on Renan Ferreira, which is going to be a crazy heavyweight fight, just nothing but violence. I mean, PFL, we absolutely eat in PFL. We've lost one PFL probably in the past 3 years. I know I've only started Patreon like this year, but the past 3 years, we've only lost one PFL. PFL is pretty fucking easy, to be honest. We have UFC 308 coming up next week. We have this UFC Vegas 99 this weekend as well. We have humongous payouts in our Patreon. Usually we hit these when we combine like 3 events or whatever, especially including PFL and UFC 308. We should cash pretty big, in my opinion. We have like $1,000 parlays in there. We have so one payout is over $3K. There's some really big payouts in the Patreon. Like I said, $199. We're up $4,500 this year. We also do NFL and stuff. We've been giving out nothing but winners to people. A lot of our members have just been cashing like crazy. So if you guys, let me fix this real quick so I'm ready. Yeah, we've been giving out nothing but winners to all you guys. So if you guys want to join, $199, it's not too bad. Just hop in. We'll have our safety parlay, our straights, doubles, props, parlays. We'll have our confidence level. We'll have UFC breakdowns, the whole breakdowns, PFL breakdowns. We'll also have month-long parlays, like I said, the ones that combined. And at this point, I'm just ranting, so let's get into the breakdowns. So for the first fight on the card, we have Tariq Ismael versus Taha. Bendaoud. So, do they have the odds on here? Because I didn't do the odds. They don't. I didn't do the odds on my freaking Patreon. But anyways, Tariq Ismael, I want to say he's like negative 170. He's taking on Taha Bendaoud. Bendaoud is a striker who likes to fight from distance. I don't know too much other than that. I know his opponent, Tariq Ismael, is a wrestler with a lot more experience. A lot of the times, when you have these wrestlers with a lot of experience going up against a striker without that same experience, the wrestler will be able to expose the takedown defense and pick up a win. This is exactly what I think happens here. Give me Tariq Ismael to win this fight using his wrestling. That's pretty much that. I don't think Taha is all that good, to be honest. Like you can see, this is, what is this? Is this his debut? Yeah, I think it's his debut in PFL. He's only 3-0, right? His last fight with a 1-on-1 fighter going split decision. He's fought some good guys like Cedric Doyle. Actually, I was thinking of somebody else. But anyways, I mean, it's low. I don't think any of these guys are too good. But I just think when you have a wrestler versus a striker, when the wrestler has more experience, most of the time they're able to expose takedown defense, pick up the win. Give me Tariq Ismael here, low confidence. So Ibragimov versus Nacho Campos. Ibragimov's negative 1,000, and we're going to keep this pretty short. This is Ibragimov all day here. Ibragimov will shoot takedowns all day relentlessly, and Campos has showed a glaring hole in stopping takedowns. He struggled stopping takedowns from Israel Nascimento, who isn't nearly the wrestler Ibragimov is. I understand Campos won that fight and stood up, got back to his feet, but he won't be getting up from Ibragimov's takedowns. This is a clear setup fight for Ibragimov to win in his hometown. So Ibragimov is my pick all day with high confidence. He's going to win the fight. There's not much really other to say. I think I personally wouldn't parlay like a negative 1,000. Or actually, I might have thrown him in one. But I wouldn't. He's not going to lose. He's safe to parlay, guys. You could throw this in your parlay if you want. Makkasharip, Zaynukov versus Dedrick Sanders. Zaynukov is a wrestler who is not afraid to stand. He will be the bigger fighter in this matchup for sure. Sanders is a striker that can be taken down. If you guys don't know who he is, he beat Sergio Casio in his last fight where Casio missed weight by I think it was 6.8 pounds or some shit like that. Where I don't think he trained for the fight, so I think that was a fluky win by Sanders. But anyways, Sanders will try to fight from distance when he is striking. The way I see this fight going is the bigger fighter in Zaynukov being able to just bully Sanders and get takedowns to pick up the win in this fight. The path is very easy and simple for him to win, so I hope he gets this fight down as soon as possible. Zaynukov is a pick all day here for me. I mean, he's negative 325. He could probably go into my high confidence picks, but I just think there's other better plays on the card. Negative 325 is not bad at all, though. He should wrestle. If he decides to stand, I mean, I don't think Sanders knocks him out. But yeah, if he wrestles, he's going to dominate here. So we got Raufeon Super Stots versus Marcos Breno. And this is a fight that's kind of crazy to me, is on the prelims. But as we'll point out in one of our later breakdowns, it kind of makes sense. So Raufeon Stots, I feel this is a layup type fight for Stots here, and definitely a big step down. Stots is a really good wrestler with some decent striking for a wrestler. He is the former champion with wins over guys like Magomedov, Danny Sabatello twice, and Juan Archuleta. His only 2 losses in his career are both to current champions in Merab Dvalishvili and Patchy Mix. Marcos Breno was submitted by Danny Sabatello in his last fight, which is very embarrassing because Danny Sabatello doesn't really finish anyone and seems like he might be over the hill, to be honest. I will say, though, Breno was decent on the feet, nothing special. His takedown defense looked good in that first fight, the first round against Danny, but Danny wasn't setting anything up. Raufeon Stots is the better wrestler, in my opinion. I just think he knows how to mix in his wrestling a lot more than Danny. Danny has no striking, so he'll just shoot his takedowns from, like, kickboxing range. Like, just shoots across the cage. You can see him coming from a mile away. Danny's just such a good wrestler, he could still get you down. That's what makes Danny, what's made him so good, and helped him pick up his wins because he has nothing else other than his wrestling and his cardio. Breno tried to shoot on Danny for some reason in that fight, which Danny reversed and ended up on Breno's back to steal that first round. The second round is where Breno started showing cardio issues similar to the Josh Hill fight, and he pretty much gave up after that. Hail Mary submission attempt. Stots will do the exact same thing as Danny, so expect Stots to get an early finisher in this one once Breno gasses. I have Stots by second round finish, to be honest. I feel like his wrestling and his pace, like, that wrestling's just going to be too much for Breno. I feel like he gasses and Stots is going to get the finish here. A lot of people are going to decision. I know he's a decision fighter, right? Decision. He head kicked. Okay, that was... he knocked out Archuleta. Decision. But it's like, look at the guys he's going to decision with. Like, I just want to break this down for you guys. So if I remember correctly, the Archuleta fight, I want to say Archuleta dipped into a knee, I think, if I remember correctly. Yeah, Sabatello decision, right? Sabatello decision again. Sabatello's tough as hell. Like, he's not going to go away. Magomedov's also a beast. He's not going to just go away. So it's like, what's he doing? See, even against low-level guys, right? He is taking him to decision. But I will say also against low-level guys, he has a lot of, like, chokes, I guess you could say. That's what I think is going to happen here, is because Breno does have the cardio issues. He does quit, as we see in that Danny fight. I just think he's going to gas out, give up his back, and then Stots with the choke. So give me Stots by round 2 submission. This is probably my favorite fight on the whole PFL card. We got AJ McKee versus Paul Big News Hughes. This is a crazy fight. I'm going to read what I have, then I'll talk about it a little bit. AJ McKee is one of the best fighters in Bellator. He has some of the best grappling to go along with some pretty good striking. He's one of those fighters that would be a high UFC level fighter. Quite frankly, I know his record says 22-1, but he's 23-0. Paul Hughes is a really good striker who can also grapple pretty well against his competition that he's facing, which is not very good at all. His grappling consists of getting his takedowns and landing brutal elbows from the top. His striking has some good head movement with very, very fast. He's so fucking lightning fast. He gets hit a lot, but he does move his head. I believe AJ McKee will be able to control this fight on the ground, and being the bigger fighter will just be too strong for Paul Big News Hughes. If this fight stays on the feet, though, that's where this fight gets interesting. AJ has just fought way better competition and beat the way better competition as well. This will be a huge step up for Hughes, so we'll see how good he really is. I believe AJ will win a close decision fight. I think people are sleeping on Paul Hughes. Obviously, the odds don't really reflect that too much. McKee's a fucking monster. And I think Paul Hughes is good, right? He's 12-1. He beat Jordan Vucenic, good win, but he's not McKee. His grappling is not McKee's level. Paul Hughes has good striking. He'll touch up McKee. I don't think he'll knock him out or anything. I think McKee's grappling is going to be too much. I think Paul Hughes will put up a little bit of a fight in the grappling, but once McKee it'll be a little like scramble or whatever, you know, but once McKee gets that control, just because he's the way better grappler, I think AJ will pick up those rounds from there. I don't know. He might sub him here, but I'm going to go decision. I won't play a prop for this. I like McKee here with medium confidence. So here's the fight I was talking about with the Raufeon Stots fight being a prelim fight. Husein Kadimagomaev versus Zafar Mohsen. I feel this fight should be pretty safe. It seems as if the PFL is trying to push Husein here, because I was curious about why he ended up on the main card of a card this stacked, and the only thing that came to my mind is that the PFL wants him to win. Especially like they swapped Raufeon Stots, former champion, 20-2, one of the best Bellator fighters. You know what I mean? For Husein Kadimagomaev. He's a very good wrestler going up against an opponent who has terrible takedown defense and can definitely be out-wrestled. On top of that, Husein is also the much bigger guy here. I don't see Husein losing. Husein with high confidence. It's a setup. Husein, nasty wrestler who's gonna keep fucking shooting, versus Zafar Mohsen, no takedown defense whatsoever. Look at this fight. He got taken down here and controlled. Husein all day. They know what they're doing. Johny Eblen versus Fabian Edwards. Look at Johnny Eblen's nickname, Pressure. That's what's going to win him this fight. I'll get to the breakdown, then we'll talk about it. This is a rematch we have already seen. Edwards was able to defend those takedowns early, but Eblen's constant pace and holding against the cage with his pressure was starting to wear Edwards down, which is when Eblen landed a big shot to knock down and eventually finish Edwards. This fight should look exactly the same. Expect Eblen to pressure on the feet and the striking matchup to be about even. Once Edwards starts to slow, Eblen will take this fight over and get the takedowns. This is where the difference is. He'll get the takedowns and win all the later rounds in pretty dominant fashion. If Eblen gets a takedown early, it's going to be very bad news for Edwards. Also, I know some of you will say it's a new fight. Fabian Edwards barely beat Aaron Jeffrey. Yeah, he barely beat Aaron Jeffrey, who is not even close to what Eblen is. You could argue Jeffrey won rounds 1 and 3 as well. He was also winning all around 2 until the last 30 seconds from the elbow by Edwards. Eblen all day here for a dominant decision. Edwards, look at Eblen, how he fought Edwards, and look at how freaking Aaron Jeffrey fought Edwards. It's exactly the same style. Jeffrey did not look like, he's not that good. He's like a Walmart version of fucking Johnny Eblen. Johnny Eblen's like the Gucci version. Not comparing him at all, but I'm just saying how they fought Edwards. Eblen's the way better wrestler compared to Jeffrey, right? He's better. I don't know. Jeffrey just wouldn't throw. Eblen's boxing's not that bad. So he's just going to pressure Edwards just like the last fight. He's going to stay safe. He won't get caught with anything. Edwards isn't that dangerous. Yeah, eventually they'll break him, and he's going to win rounds 3, 4, and 5. Easy. Rounds 1 and 2, they might split, but it'll probably lean towards Eblen. Give me Eblen 49-46 decision here all day. This is high confidence pick. Another banger on this card between Cris Cyborg and Larissa Pacheco. Plus 105 for Cyborg, negative 125 for Pacheco. I'm not even going to give you guys any hints. I'll let you guys know who I'm picking at the end of this. Cris Cyborg is now 39 years old, but still an absolute animal. She has very good striking and very real power. She can use her size to be a bully. Larissa Pacheco is also an animal, as she has dominated the women's division in the PFL, including a win over Kayla Harrison after losing to her twice before. Pacheco has very powerful striking as well as an improved ground game. I think Pacheco will have to grapple in this fight in order to get the win over Cyborg. Unfortunately for Pacheco, I think Cyborg is just a better striker here in this fight, and I think the takedown defense will hold up. I know I'm fading the public here, and I know I'm going against my heart, as Pacheco is one of my favorite female fighters in the world, but I think Cyborg is just a better fighter and will win a decision here against Larissa Pacheco. So Pacheco, she beat Kayla Harrison, right? I understand she beat Kayla Harrison, And I hate doing this to fighters. I hate taking away the freaking credit. I think Kayla Harrison was just bored. I think that's why she lost, because it was a close decision fight. Was it a split? Let me see. It was unanimous. Okay, it was 48-47, I want to say. It was a close fight. I think Kayla Harrison was bored. She was ready to go to the UFC. She didn't really care about Larissa Pacheco, right? So I think Pacheco kind of surprised her after Kayla Harrison already beat her twice. Pacheco is a beast, though, I will say. She dominates bad women, or these other women that aren't like the Kayla Harrisons, like top girls, right? I think Cris Cyborg's still Cris Cyborg, man. I think she's still juicing. Yeah, give me Cris Cyborg here by decision. But I will say low confidence pick. Because I could be completely wrong and Larissa Pacheco could just fucking maul, which really could happen with her grappling. For the main event, we have Francis Ngannou versus Renan Ferreira. This is a big time fight I like a lot here. Francis Ngannou is probably the most powerful striker MMA has ever seen. He is a former UFC champion, beating guys like Stipe Miocic, Curtis Blades, Cyril Gane, Cain Velasquez, Junior Dos Santos, etc. He's beat the who's who of the heavyweight division. He also has shown improved grappling in that Cyril Gane fight. We all know Cyril Gane has grappling zero, like Khabib says. Zero grappling. Francis has been out of MMA for 2 years while he was boxing Tyson Fury, which I thought he won. And Anthony Joshua absolutely got decimated. Yeah, that shit was terrible. And I can't believe we fucking loaded up on Anthony Joshua and cashed the fuck out of that. That was so easy. Renan Ferreira will be the bigger guy here, standing at 6'8", going along with some solid striking, as well as holding a black belt in jiu-jitsu. I expect Ngannou to win this fight, but the knockout loss scares me along with his age. Ngannou should be the better fight here, though, and I expect him to find a knockout. The PFL needs him to win. Paid him all this money, pretty much for him to win, right? Renan Ferreira is a beast, though. I think a lot of his hype, which we bet on, we loaded up on him. We won a lot, because he's our last leg in a parlay, versus Ryan Bader. I just thought he was too big and had a humongous advantage in the striking. He has some good-ass wins, like Dennis Goldsaw is good. I mean, other than that, nothing really, like, major. But he has Ryan Bader, which I think was just stylistically good matchup. And he beat Dennis Goldsaw, right? Francis is a different animal. He's not Dennis Goldsaw. He's not Ryan Bader. Francis would fucking beat the living shit out of Bader. He would beat the fuck out of Goldsaw, too. Give me Francis here. He should win this fight as long as his age and hasn't caught up to him. And being out with the boxing, that's another thing that worries me, like when fighters go out to boxing. But this should be a stand-up fight for heavyweights. Boxing kind of translates to the heavyweight game. So yeah, give me Francis Ngannou here. So that's it for our breakdown of the PFL. Francis versus Renan Ferreira card. It's a stacked-ass card. Seems pretty easy to bet as long as no fluky shit happens. Our Patreon has all our bets out already. I would recommend you guys go follow, look at the month-long MMA. For our active members, look at our month-long MMA. As we have UFC 308, PFL, and this weekend's UFC all together for big-ass payouts. Plus, we have everything for UFC Vegas 99, the breakdowns, the bets, everything, PFL. We have breakdowns, confidence levels, all that. Yeah, that's it for this video. The next video we'll have dropping is our most confident picks, which will be Friday night. We'll have it out, and make sure you guys watch and get your bets in ASAP. We've been cashing all our parlays. Well, not all of them, but most of them. The only parlay we lost recently was on UFC 307, and that's because Kevin Holland got hurt. We had the over 1.5, which was going to cash. That shit was crazy, but we lost that. I think we hit the weekend before that. We hit a parlay, and then we hit our 11-1 parlay last weekend we gave out. We're probably going to hit this weekend too, so I'll give you guys the parlay tomorrow on our most confident picks. I'll see you then.